Got some weird echo going on. Anyway, welcome all to the shrine room at Adhisthana. We've had a couple of events here over the lockdown period, and many people have expressed real appreciation of being able to be present, although albeit virtually, in the Adhisthana shrine room. And I hope this afternoon you have a similar experience to those people, because it's lovely to welcome you all here. So before we start the puja, I'd just like to give you a bit of background, bit of a timescale as to some of the events that unfold around the time of Bante's death, because it was really very, very extraordinary set of circumstances that around that time. Well, first of all, I was one of the people working on preparing Bante's burial site. In fact, we always knew that we had a limited amount of time to get the burial site ready for Bante's death, and we were working away at it. And I can remember seeing Bante walking up and down doing his usual sort of morning constitutional walk with the aid of his walking frame and his carers. And I can remember looking over with the diggers over at the burial site working and seeing Bante walking up and down. And it was quite poignant really to see him, you know, in this extreme old age, knowing that within a matter of time, we didn't know how long, he was going to be buried in this this stone monument that we were constructing for him. So he went into hospital on the Friday, and that was about 2 days after we'd actually finished the burial site. So the burial site was finished on about the Wednesday, and we sent the contractors away, and it was all done. He went into hospital on the Friday, and on the Monday he had died. What an extraordinary, it was almost as if he was waiting for his burial site to have been completed. So that was one rather extraordinary coincidence. The other thing is we had a course on here, the Adhisthana International Leadership course, with people from all over the world. I think there were about, how many, 15? There were 14 people from all over the world here who had been here for a couple of months at least, doing a course on leadership, as it were, to paraphrase it. So they were here, and that was really good, because during that time, obviously within a short space of time, Bante's body came back, and we were able to organise an all-night vigil. So we had these vigils around his body, well, in the shrine room. So that went on the whole time that Bante was, as it were, lying in state, as it were, in the Amitabha shrine room. And then at the weekend that came up, we had the men's area order weekend began, and at the same time on the Monday, all the public preceptors from all over the world were turning up. It's quite remarkable. It's almost as if Bante had planned it. I can't imagine there being a better or more significant constellation of Triratna, deeply committed Triratna people in one place for that event. So it really was very, very extraordinary, the fact that the burial site was just finished and all these people were here. So as you can imagine, the atmosphere around Adhisthana was really very extraordinary. And we had, of course, Bante lying in, as it were, lying in state. That's not the right word, but we had him lying in the Amitabha shrine room. And very skillfully, his body was carefully looked after in terms of the temperature. And we had this whole system where we could have 15 people there in a time. And hundreds of people were able to sit with Bante over in the Amitabha shrine room. So it was really, really an extraordinary event. And one of the things that Bante had asked for was that at the time of his death, we invoked these great 5 bodhisattvas, and that he wanted these to be very, very much part of his death ritual. So we'll be doing the puja as we did it during that week. We did it many times, actually. It was done almost every night for, I can't remember now how many days, 10 days at least, probably at least. We did this puja regularly, and we'll do it today exactly, almost exactly as we did it during his death. And we mustn't forget that Adhisthana, well, the word Adhisthana is the blessing, isn't it? And I think Bhante wanted us to bring down, as it were, the blessing of these extraordinary bodhisattvas as well, as part of his legacy, as part of what he was passing on to us. He was passing on the legacy of these, the knowledge or the awareness of these great spiritual beings. And so that's what we'll be doing this afternoon. So I think we'll just, we'll start by saluting the refugees, and then we'll sit for a moment to compose ourselves, and then we will do the puja. So let us salute the three refugees. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Dharmaya. Namo Dharmaya. Namo Sanghadeva. Namo Sanghadeva. Namo Namo. Puja dedicated to Urgyen Sangharakshita. First of all, worship. With Mandarava, blue lotus and jasmine.
With Mandara, blue lotus and jasmine.
With all flowers pleasing and fragrant.
With all flowers pleasing and fragrant.
And with garlands skillfully woven.
And with garlands skillfully woven.
I pay honor to the princes of the sages.
I pay honor to the princes of the sages.
So worthy of veneration.
So worthy of veneration.
I envelop them in clouds of incense,
I envelop them in clouds of incense,
sweet and penetrating.
sweet and penetrating.
I make them offerings of food, hard and soft,
I make them offerings of food, hard and soft,
and pleasing kinds of liquids to drink.
and pleasing kinds of liquids to drink.
I offer them lamps encrusted with jewels,
I offer them lamps encrusted with jewels,
festooned with golden lotus,
festooned with golden lotus,
on the paving sprinkled with perfume.
on the paving sprinkled with perfume.
I scatter handfuls of beautiful flowers.
I scatter handfuls of beautiful flowers.
Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha.
Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Mani Mani Maha Mani Shakya Mani Swaha. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Shakya Muni 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 Swaha.
Salutation. As many atoms as there are,
As many atoms as there are,
in the 1,000,000,000 worlds,
in the 1,000,000,000 worlds,
so many times I make reverent salutation
so many times I make reverent salutation
to all the Buddhas of the three eras,
to all the Buddhas of the three eras,
to the Siddharma,
to the Siddharma,
and to the excellent community.
and to the excellent community.
I pay homage to all the shrines
I pay homage to all the shrines
and places in which the Bodhisattvas have been.
and places in which the Bodhisattvas have been.
I make profound obeisance to the teachers
I make profound obeisance to the teachers
and those to whom respectful salutation is due.
and those to whom respectful salutation is due.
Going for refuge. This very day,
This very day,
I go for my refuge
I go for my refuge
to the powerful protectors
to the powerful protectors
whose purpose is to guard the universe,
whose purpose is to guard the universe,
the mighty conquerors who overcome suffering everywhere.
the mighty conquerors who overcome suffering everywhere.
Wholeheartedly also I take my refuge
Wholeheartedly also I take my refuge
in the Dharma they have ascertained,
in the Dharma they have ascertained,
which is the abode of security against the rounds of rebirth.
which is the abode of security against the rounds of rebirth.
Likewise in the host of bodhisattvas,
Likewise in the host of bodhisattvas,
I take my refuge
I take my refuge.
in unison. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Ditiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Ditiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Ditiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Anatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adhinatana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kamesu mechachara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Suramarya majja Adhisthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. With deeds of loving kindness, I purify my body. With open-handed generosity, I purify my body. With stillness, simplicity, and contentment, I purify my body. With truthful communication, I purify my speech. With mindfulness clear and radiant, I purify my mind. Confession of faults. The evil that I have heaped up through my ignorance and foolishness, evil in the world of everyday experience, as well as evil in understanding and intelligence, all that I acknowledge to the protectors, standing before them, with hands raised in reverence, and terrified of suffering, I pay salutations again and again. May the leaders receive this kindly. Just as it is with its many faults. What is not good, O protectors? I shall not do again. Om Tare Tare Ture Swaha. 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 Om Tare Tutare 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 Ture Swaha. Rejoicing in merit. I rejoice with delight.
I rejoice with delight
In the good done by all beings,
in the good done by all beings,
through which they obtain rest,
through which they obtain rest,
with the end of suffering.
with the end of suffering.
May those who have suffered be happy.
May those who have suffered be happy.
I rejoice in the release of beings
I rejoice in the release of beings
from the sufferings of the rounds of existence.
from the sufferings of the rounds of existence.
I rejoice in the nature of the Bodhisattva
I rejoice in the nature of the Bodhisattva
and the Buddha,
and the Buddha,
who are protectors.
who are protectors.
I rejoice in the arising of the will to enlightenment
I rejoice in the arising of the will to enlightenment
and the teaching,
and the teaching,
those oceans that bring happiness to all beings
those oceans that bring happiness to all beings,
and are the abode of welfare of all beings.
and are the abode of welfare of all beings.
Om Ammiteva Hri. 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 Om Ammiteva Hri.
Om Ammiteva Hri. Om Ammiteva Hri. Om Ammiteva Hri. Om Ammiteva Hri. Om Ammiteva Hri. Om Om Amideva Hari. 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 Entreaty and supplication. Saluting them with folded hands.
Saluting them with folded hands.
I entreat the Buddhas in all the quarters.
I entreat the Buddhas in all the quarters.
May they make shine the lamp of the Dharma.
May they make shine the lamp of the Dharma.
For those wandering in the suffering of delusion.
For those wandering in the suffering of delusion.
With hands folded in reverence.
With hands folded in reverence.
I implore the conquerors desiring to enter nirvana.
I implore the conquerors desiring to enter nirvana.
May they remain here for endless ages.
May they remain here for endless ages.
So that life in this world does not grow dark.
So that life in this world does not grow dark.
I believe that humanity is basically one. I believe that it is possible for any human being to communicate with any other human being, to feel for any other human being, to be friends with any other human being. This is what I truly and deeply believe. It is part of my own life. It is part of me. I cannot live without this belief, and I would rather die than give it up. To me, to live means to practice this belief. Therefore, This belief is part of my religion. It has nothing to do with the way in which I dress, nothing to do with what I call myself. It is a matter of the way I am, the way I exist. It is the way I naturally function in the world. This is what religion really is. It is what you most truly and deeply believe. It is what you are prepared to die for. It is your life. It is what makes you what you are. It is what makes you behave in the way that you do. Religion is therefore a very important thing. In fact, it is the most important thing.
Om Arapajanadihi. 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 Om Arapajanadihi.
Transference of merit and self-surrender. May the merit gained
May the merit gained
in my acting thus
in my acting thus
go to the alleviation of the suffering of all beings.
go to the alleviation of the suffering of all beings.
My personality throughout my existences
My personality throughout my existences
my possessions,
and
my merit in all three ways.
my merit in all three ways.
I give up without regard to myself,
I give up without regard to myself,
for the benefit of all beings,
for the benefit of all beings,
just as the earth and other elements
just as the earth and other elements
are serviceable in many ways
are serviceable in many ways
to the infinite number of beings
to the infinite number of beings
inhabiting limitless space.
inhabiting limitless space.
So may I become
So may I become
that which maintains all beings,
that which maintains all beings,
situated throughout space,
situated throughout space,
so long as all have not attained
so long as all have not attained
to peace.
to peace.
Om Ahum Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Om. 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 Om Ahum Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Om.
Om Ahom Vajraguru Padmasree Om. Om Ahom Vajraguru Padmasree Om. Om Ahom Vajraguru Padmasree Om. Om Ahom Vajraguru Padmasree Om. Om Ahom Vajraguru Padmasree Om. Om Ahom Vajraguru Padmasree Om. Om Ahom Vajraguru Padmasree Om. Om Ahom Vajraguru Padmasree Om. Om Ahom Vajraguru Padmasree Om. Om Ahom Vajraguru Padmasree Om. Om Ahom Vajraguru Padmasree Om.